people say, Pan-Africanism. I think Pan-Africanism is actually survival for the African. If we don't get our act together, we're still going to be enslaved. Find the chains are gone, and we have our own constitution. But financially, our wallets are in Europe.
Hi guys, my name is Janita Maya. Welcome to Kenganda. Now I have a special guest right here with me. Please introduce yourself to our viewers.
Okay, my name is Dr.Juliet
Yes.
I have a doctorate in philosophy. I'm not a GP. So I actually studied fine and industrial art at Makerere. And then from there, I had the opportunity to work at some companies. I part-timed also in London. And I was lucky enough to get a scholarship to, of all places, China.
Wow.
Right? So I did my master's and PhD there.
Yeah.
When I finished my PhD, I wanted to come back home. COVID hit. And I was in Wuhan, of all places.
Imagine.
So
that
was an adventure, yeah. An advantage, just was a huge tragedy.
Yeah.
But, through such hard times or trials, you find your true self. So when I went to China, I realized that I was in a country where the people are not colonized.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
The coast was colonized by many European and even Asian countries because, of course, coastlines are easily accessible. But the rest of China wasn't. So the way they carry themselves and they walk and they talk and they behave was quite alien to me and most of us who arrived there. Because from the time you arrive, the language is weird. The signs are weird. The directions are weird. The food is weird. It's weird. It takes like 6 months to adapt to it. The spices are weird.
What's the weirdest food you've eaten before we get to it?
I think either squid or tortoise. And by mistake, not like I was like, nyam. I was at a wedding and they offered like tortoise. It's like a delicacy, like a senene.
Yeah.
Can you say no? It's just eat and smile. It's very, very tasty.
Yeah.
Okay. When you reach out, you're like, I want to puke.
Why did I? Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
So from there I started realizing some behaviors they have is why they are one of the strongest, economically strong countries in the world. One of the things I loved about them, self-sustenance. They do not want to borrow money. Come hell, come fire.
Yeah.
The only time they borrow money is if they are buying a building.
Yes.
All right. And when they're buying a building, they buy it as a family.
Yes.
All right. So anything, clothes, cars, personal houses, weddings. There are no wedding meetings. All right.
My country
they
people
just
should
save
learn.
money for 10 years. Even if it's 10 years, they save money and they make a very lavish wedding. All right. But their day-to-day life is like, we must save or we must earn more than we spend. All right.
I like that.
And their saving culture is bonkers. It's bananas. They save around 70% of their income.
Wow.
All right.
Yeah.
So you find someone in the same suit for 5 years, but the account is saying something very different. All right.
Yeah.
When they buy a car, they look at a car like a 10-year investment. Funny thing is, it's also still an agricultural country.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, 60% of it is rural. So I was like, but they are rural and then they're industrialized. Because when you go from like a small village in Wuhan to Guangzhou, that huge city, the biggest commercial city in the world, it's like you're in two different worlds. The village in UK, because there's a village, a place called Hanyang, it has a lot of villages.
Yeah.
The same here, they are eating in Nakati and Tula.
Yeah.
They have 2
Those are
pigs,
greens.
1 chicken, 5 chicken flying around and all.
Yeah.
They're in sapatu, they're Chinese sapatu and all that. The hygiene is not so good. Flies are there. But you never see that on TV.
Never. They'll never
see
show that.
Why? The government makes sure when people come to film, they don't film the abject poverty of China.
Yes.
All right? Because they understand the power of image and visibility. But here, Bazungu come.
They take them to the village.
Take them to the village school and then they say that's Gayaza High. All right? And now they take them to Karamoja and say that's Budo. That kind of thing. That can't happen in China. If you are to film in China, you have to film it in a positive light because they know the power of image and visibility.
Yeah.
2, they plan their families to the T. Only 2 children allowed.
Yes, please.
All
I
right?
feel like everyone should pick up on that. 1 child is enough.
Yeah, and what they do, they encourage you to have maximum 2. If you have 1 child, all the way to university, they get free education. The second child, up to S4. The third child, primary, they will stop there. 4th child, they will just get a uterus and sterilize it. So they are a bit draconian, yeah. That's real, because they are huge. They are huge population.
Yes.
Right now, there are 4 million in China, and yet there are more Chinese outside China. But they're called non-residential Chinese, NRCs. Okay, there are more Chinese outside China. So for them to get citizenship, it's even harder for them than foreigners sometimes. Yeah, because they don't want those people to come. Because the non-residential Chinese have huge families, 4 kids, what and all that kind of.
That's a huge family.
That's a huge family.
My country people would never.
They are not going to do that.
Yeah.
All right. So one of the things that I said was self-sustenance. Everything is controlled and balanced. Sometimes it's draconian, yes. Sometimes it's very tough, but it works. I love the way they do their infrastructure. Before they put up like a set of flats like this, they've already paved the road. They've already piped the water. They've already done the electricity.
Yes.
In fact, when you buy electricity, you're buying water. When you're buying water, you're buying electricity.
Yeah.
All right. And of course, by the time they give you they allow you to build a flat or a house, there has to be the road directions are there, the road signs, everything. All right. They have in the big cities, they have high-rise buildings.
Yeah.
Very like
high.
20 floors, 30 floors. There are 200 people inside. It's crazy.
Yeah.
You're like, how come there's no chaos here? Why? Because they manage themselves, self-sustenance. So when I came back home, I'm like, why are we?
But when you learn from
where
when
are
you
we on border mentality?
Airports, it's just like, where? I've just entered the den of something.
Yeah. From EBS, you're already in trouble.
Even the people directing you where to go, it's like, is it by force?
But EBS is okay. Because what is so funny in Guangzhou, there are a lot of, it's the commercial city of China.
Yeah.
It makes around 2 trillion every quarter. 2 trillion USD every quarter. All creeds, colors of people are there. So at the airport, it can't be chaotic. Okay? But what is so funny, the worst chaos comes from the Nigerian brothers and sisters.
What? Really?
Yes. It's like
all the way there?
All the way there, because now there's a section where all the Ethiopia Airlines come out from, KQs, all the African airlines, Uganda Air, all that. As soon as you leave the exit gate, there's a Nigerian, my sister, why are you going to go out? I'll take you where you want to go. I want to marry you, those things.
Oh my days.
And they're like,
proposals
you're
when
going
you
to marry me in Guangzhou. It's okay, you can even throw your passport. So I'll get you a new passport of China. Like, God.
Oh my God.
And their influence is so strong, even in Guangzhou, when you go to buy things and a Chinese sees you, she'll speak Nigerian English.
Yeah.
My sister, come here.
Yeah.
very cheap price.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then of course we go there just see what's going. But the sad thing is when you go to the high-end stores and the Chinese chase you away. They tell you go to the cheap end because of your skin color.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Really?
True. All right. So
we
racism
heard about
everywhere. Even Uganda, there's racism, but racism is there.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's also, of course, it's not like encouraged like the US. You don't find top officials or someone campaigning that, black people are this, black people are that. No, it's not like that. It's just some parts are just filled with too many Africans and with our bad manners.
Yeah.
Okay, kuva vieyo, not paying rent, running away. Those things are also there in Guangzhou. Some Africans do that in Guangzhou. So they give us a bad rap. Okay. But also on the good side is Guangzhou, there are those people who have got citizenship because they're actually serious businessmen and women, and they're flourishing. Okay.
Africans there.
Africans.
There's this thing where they say when you go to China, it's like when you sit on a bus, like they don't come and sit next to you or something like that.
Oh yeah, they move even away. Yeah, they move away. And it's not like because you're black, it's because they don't know you. They're like, this is a stranger danger kind of situation. Yeah, so when you sit on a train or a bus, they don't know you, they will move away. But if you start speaking Chinese, the questions come flooding. Why are you black? Is the sun too hot? Is this your real hair? I hear you have fake hair. Why are you tall? Are you Kobe Bryant's sister? Of course I'm Kobe Bryant's sister.
Right? I'm a celeb in my country.
And then, how do you know Chinese? I said I studied it here for 1 year in Wuhan. They'll be like, your Chinese is very good, and that things like that. Then they open up. But if they don't know you, they have those stranger danger signals. Yeah, so when I came back home, I realized we are doomed because one of the things we have not been taught formally or informally is financial acumen. Okay, at school you will do commerce, you will do everything, microfinance, but personal finance, no one teaches you at school. At home, also your parents, if you're lucky and you have smart parents, you learn personal finance. If you come from an unfortunate situation, maybe a really poor home or unstable home, you don't know how to manage your finances.
True.
All right?
Yeah.
For them, financial acumen is informal. It's from home. And it's also now supported by LOCs, by government. And the good thing in China, the boss is the woman.
Oh,
The boss is the woman. When you say, hey, I want to buy this TV, they say, they give you a price. Let's go down. To say, let me call the boss.
Yeah.
See, all Jaja coming, Jaja Mchala.
Yes.
How can I help you? I want to reduce this. So everything, the woman runs it.
That is nice.
So that's why they're really strong and they really keep that. And that is because, of course, they were not colonized. Because many African communities were like that before. At least when I was in Kenya, the Maasai, the women were the ones who were in charge of the house. Even I think some tribes, maybe, I think the Kejong and I think the Bachiga, also, the women were the ones in charge of the house. But now colonization brought the woman down and made the man like the head of everything. Even if he doesn't cook, he doesn't clean, he doesn't know what's in the house, but he's the one in charge of the house, which is wrong.
Yeah.
He doesn't know what is missing.
How much
tomatoes, onions. He doesn't know. So when you tell him, give me more money for tomatoes, he just beats you because he thinks you're lying. You're overspending. Okay, I love the thing that the Muslims do.
Yeah.
The husband will give money. She starts a shop or a business, and then he drops in once in a while to check on that. But for Christians, it's more.
Shout out to Muslim men.
Yeah, it's more the man is the head of the house and the woman is like the servant. Obey what, be a good Christian. If things are bad, go and pray in your local church.
Exactly.
God will provide.
Amen.
All right. So because when you sit together, you learn how to plan. All right. And also you don't have cases of when the man dies, his relatives can take over.
Yeah.
Because the woman also knows how to handle herself financially, publicly, privately, because they are equal partners. They can't do without another.
Yeah.
Okay. It's not like we want to, some people say, oh, you want to take over. No. We just want an equal stake on the table.
Thank you.
All right. One of the sad things I see here is we promoted the girl child, okay, which was necessary because a girl child and a woman was oppressed. But we forgot to educate the boy child. The girl child is now educated and independent minded. So this guy still comes home. The woman has been working full day. She's been going through maybe a battery of meetings.
Work
he wants
stress.
He still wants her to come home, give him sapatu, chai, nemeri.
Prepare hot water.
Hot water and a full meal matoke, kati nyama, vinyewa, konja.
Yeah.
And then wake up at 5 again.
Cook breakfast,
firewood thing, and then go to work and be a superstar. It's very hard.
It's unrealistic,
very
honestly.
Hard. Yeah. A man today needs to know a bit of housework.
Please.
And a bit of cooking.
By all means.
Yes.
Yeah, not just boiling eggs and surviving.
Not boiling. Oh, your room looks like a pigsty because you don't know how to use a broom. It doesn't work anymore. Especially like now for us, our educated women. If I see a man leaving a pile of clothes there, I also leave him alone. Because that means I'm now I have to pick up after him.
Yeah, you're going to become his
bring
mom.
Fights. I'm his mom. He has a beard. How can I be his mom and he has a beard? No.
Yeah, it can't happen.
It can't happen.
Yeah.
One of the sad things I would say Christianity did, it brought an imbalance in the family. And the family is the key to everything.
Explain that, because I'm a
good
Christian over here.
It's the key to everything. There should be consensus in a family, especially there are two heads. In the Bible, it's only one head, which is a problem. It should be two heads. I mean, if that's the case, then the man should also bear the child. Okay? Or if that's the case, the woman should be able to fertilize herself.
Oh my God.
Let's keep it real. You see? So we need to bring back that balance of consensus. One of the sad things is the Bible we got is not the Bible the white man preaches. All right. People say, Pan-Africanism. I think Pan-Africanism is actually survival for the African. If we don't get our act together, we're still going to be enslaved. Fine, the chains are gone and we have our own constitution, but financially our wallets are in Europe. All right. And starts from the Bible. Why? During slavery days, they had two types of Bibles. They had the Master's Bible and the Negro slave Bible. Okay. So what they'll teach the white people is not what they'll teach the black people in the churches. That's why they separated them. If you read, there were black churches and white churches. It was worse in Brazil. Yeah, and yet there are more Africans in Brazil. So the whites were told, go, take over the land and multiply. Okay, the blacks were told, even if your master hates you, love him and pray for him. Yeah. Even if he slaps you and mistreats you, thank God at least you have a bad master. All right? So one of the things they did is they removed a lot of the Old Testament for the black slaves. It's called a Negro Slave Bible. And it happened because of two things. One, Haiti got independence by fire, by force in 1804 from the French. Okay? And when they got independence, physical independence, why they did that is because not only were they well organized, but it was a very rich cotton-producing country. So now when the blacks took over, they wanted an equal share on the table, not the breadcrumbs they were being fed. And the French couldn't allow that.
Yes.
So they tried to recolonize them. They failed. So they said, okay, since they can't recolonize them physically, let's lock their wallets. So they brought embargoes on any product Haiti from 1800, I think, up to 1930 something. So 100 years you couldn't get any Haitian products. Why? Because the Haitians refused to bow down to the French terms and conditions. During that time, Black Americans got their civil right. The Civil War happened, ended in 1865, and from there, Black Americans were physically free, economically enslaved. Okay? And before, in the slave days, there was nothing like a prison. There was nothing like jail. If a slave misbehaved, you whip him. If he misbehaves more, whip him harder or kill him. All right? Throw him away. That kind of thing. Because African Americans and Afro-Brazilians were what we call chattel slaves. They are not indentured slaves. Indentured means you're working because you're highly indebted. Okay? But you have some rights. You have the right to rest. You have the right for a holiday. You have a right to marry. You have a right to have children. Chattel slaves are like chicken, cocoa, goats, cows.
Yeah.
You could marry, they take your wife. You could have kids, they take your kids. And not for no reason, they just want to make money because you are like a money-making machine. Right? So when they got their independence in 1865, they were allowed now to move around freely, but they didn't have any financial strength, most of them. And the few that did, that's how they imposed Jim Crow laws. If you've learned about Jim Crow, it's where blacks were lower than the whites. They couldn't go to some areas. They couldn't even swim in the public pools or public beaches because everything was for the whites. So because of that, our Bible that we read today is quite tainted with problems. Because our Bible is always talking about Ephesians 6. Oh, be submissive. Don't question. Yet the Old Testament, Malachi, that guy used to question everyone. King David used to question God because he was confident enough, he knew he could do what he could do. But so what they have done, the slave Bible has first of all taken away our self-confidence. That's why you find, especially Ugandans, we are very, very nice and sweet and docile.
Very.
All right? It's good, very hospitable and what. But at one point you need to put your foot down and say, enough is enough. Okay? We need to start changing, first of all, our minds, because a good slave is one who is physically strong, mentally empty. That's why I love this song of Bob Marley, Get Up, Stand Up. They can fool you sometimes, but they can't fool you all of the times. Now you see the light, come on, stand up and fight. All right? So he's trying to say that if you don't stand for yourself, who is going to stand for you? If you don't talk about yourselves, if you don't advertise yourselves in a positive light, who is going to do it for you? That's why I was so excited about Kenganda and Wodemaya. I was like, finally, Ugandans are talking good things about themselves.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
Yeah, we are very friendly people. We are very vibrant people. You know, we are warm towards each other. It's very different when you're out there. You can't ask someone, knock and say, hey, let me borrow some blue band. Hey, go to the shop and buy.
Yes. Now, to wrap everything up, could you give us like your top lessons you've learned from your time in China?
I would say the top lessons. One, clear all your debts. Don't have debts. Yeah, I cleared my debts after I finished my master's degree. We always borrow. We borrow for a wedding dress, borrow for a wedding, borrow for makeup, borrow for food. But no, clear your debts. Live within your means. Stay in your lane, your financial lane. 3, save and invest. Don't just save for nothing. Save with a plan, with a purpose. Say, I'm saving for my car. I'm saving for my house. I'm saving for my child's education. Don't just say I'm saving just because everyone is saving. It's cool. Save with a purpose. That's what I would give.
Okay. Thank you so much. Tell the people how they can find you in case they want to reach out.
Hey.
Okay. Social media?
Social media.
Yeah.
I'm on Twitter only.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm quite a private person, much as I'm out today.
Yeah. Okay.
Because Kenganda helped me in China. Sometimes when we are crying in winter, we are like, I need something to see at home, apart from politics and you know. And I'd really love it if Kenganda could go around the country. Uganda is beautiful.
It's in the plans.
Yeah.
We've listened to you. So
anyway, very beautiful.
Very.
Kabali.
The tea gardens are amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Even Karamoja has some very beautiful sceneries.
We've been to the north, we've been to Arua. The people
like see how Wodamaya has done African.
Yeah.
I never knew Namibia was that nice.
Yeah.
Because of Wodamaya.
True.
All right. So I'd love also us to say, you mean even Uganda is like, so that even our local tourism goes up. True. Or East African tourism.
Yes.
Now Uganda is part of a bigger country. All right. So if you do that, clearly our neighbors come.
We are working on it.
And you say Karibu.
Yeah.
Enjoy yourselves.
Get the team on board.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we've come to the end of this episode. I've learned so much, by the way. Thank you. I've been taking notes. I'm going to do my research and know more about China and whatnot, and just, learn a few things here and there. And I hope that if you're watching this, you've also learned something. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on all our social media pages at Kenganda Nation. We'll see you guys next time.